welcome to CoreWeave's booth here, our podcast studio on the second story of CoreWeave's booth at NVIDIA GTC 2026. I'm your host, Lisa Martin, and we're going to walk you through a great customer story. Sebastian Yunge is here with us. He is the Senior Staff Software Engineer at CoreWeave customer Mercado Libre. We're going to tell you a story through Sebastian's perspective of one of Latin America's most sophisticated and largest consumer technology companies. Sebastian's going to talk to us about how they evaluated, they piloted, and they moved into production with CoreWeave to really deliver this purpose-built AI infrastructure for a demanding scale and a huge volume of transactions. Sebastian, thank you so much for taking some time with us today.
Glad to be here.
So we did some research on Mercado Libre, but I want you to share with the audience a little bit about this organization. It's huge in Latin America.
Yeah. I mean, if I could condense it in a few words, it would be like Amazon, PayPal rolled into one, because we do have Mercado Libre, which is, as you know, akin to Amazon, and then we have Mercado Pago, which is akin to PayPal, if you will.
Okay.
Like fintech services.
Okay.
And it's a pretty big company. We're already up to 120K employees.
Wow,
yeah.
Huge.
Across 18 countries. Yeah, we're really big in Latin America.
And I was also reading that this is the 6th largest e-commerce platform in the world by gross merchandise volumes.
Yeah.
Massive scale.
We're also the biggest company in Latin America by GMV, yeah.
And you said e-commerce, payments, logistics,
we have
credits.
the biggest logistical network in Latin America. That gives us a huge advantage over anyone that wants to enter into the region. So, yeah.
Excellent. So tell us about Mercado Libre's AI use case. What does that look like?
So Mercado Libre does employ AI all across the board. For instance, fraud prevention. We use a lot of AI in fraud prevention. Where I can speak most about is the search engine. Right now, we're in the process of rebuilding our search engine, and we're leveraging AI for different capabilities. Actually, one of the use cases that drove us to CoreWeave was actually one of the use cases that we're right now building within Search 2.0, if you will.
Okay.
So right now what we're trying to do is, we're rebuilding, but of course, when you're doing AI, you also want to start small, see what's what, take the lay of land and build something responsibly, see if there's any revenue there. Present to us, you see all that. So one of the experiments that we wanted to go forward with was actually a mechanism called query expansion, where you basically take the query that your user makes and enrich it with all the context that you have about them. So after that, you can create new queries and then merge them all together to get a more precise result on what they might be actually looking for.
Talk us through what you were looking for in an AI cloud provider and what stood out with CoreWeave.
Sure. Well, first of all, we were looking for someone that had capacity, because right now, as you all may know, looking for GPUs is a slugfest.
Yes.
Capacity, especially in the Virginia area where all the data centers are, is especially scarce.
Yeah.
But CoreWeave actually had capacity there. In fact, when we were doing the POC, they even told us, hey, you can use like R6000s, B200s, which are very powerful GPUs and are scarce. And that was a huge surprise for us for having all the capacity of the platform at a POC level. So that was huge for us, to test out what CoreWeave was all about.
Sounds like that what CoreWeave was offering was kind of a tipping point and why you said, yes, let's sign up for a POC.
No, for sure. And all the capabilities that CoreWeave offered from, Slurm, which is called Sunk on the platform, the fact that it is run on bare metal, so you do not lose anything, performance-wise, and also a clear pricing structure. That was a huge boon as well.
Transparency.
Is key.
Yes. So you made the decision to do the POC. You mentioned Sunk. What were some of the core technologies, the key technologies of CoreWeave's that you put to the test, and how did they match up to your expectations?
Well, obviously we tried the Kubernetes aspect of the platform. That's where we are today actually running all our inference for the query expansion that I mentioned before. I also got personally to be able to test the Sunk capability. that becomes especially useful when you actually need to time slice GPUs and actually start prioritizing their usage. Once you start to have a lot of compute there, you actually need to keep that queue filled because otherwise you're losing money, but you actually need to know the inventory of who wants to run what at what time.
Right.
So having that and as easily deployable as Sunk is really a great feature to have because everyone will know standing up a Slurm cluster on your own is not a simple task.
No.
It can take a while. So,
But you have the visibility now.
Yeah. And it's one click and it's done. You have a Slurm cluster running right beside your Kubernetes infra, and it's really, really, really easy.
So how long was the POC and what were some of the benefits that you immediately saw?
So if I recall correctly, the POC ran around 3 weeks, give or take. And we were surprised that they even lent us the infrastructure over that period of time because it's a hot commodity. Things that we saw, well, ease of operability, of operations. There was no feature gated whatsoever. So from the get-go, we were able to see how that meshed with our operations. Because sometimes they give you these platform demos and you get to get your tires around for a bit. And you know the performance is there, but then how does that mesh on a day-to-day basis?
Right.
You cannot do. The way that the POC was handled, we were from day zero be able to see, okay, this is how we would interact from scratch. And it was a dead giveaway to say that, hey, this works really well and we would like to move forward with this contract.
You said from scratch, and I've heard that a number of times this week from CoreWeave engineers, leaders, that they built the platform from scratch to be purpose-built for AI. We've heard that from partners as well, like the Aston Martin Formula One team, that they built that team from scratch. CoreWeave is a part of that. You're in early production, I understand?
Yeah.
Talk about how that's going and what are some of the things that you're gleaning or learning so far?
The team on CoreWeave has a ton of expertise in a lot of areas. So sometimes, I mean, we have our own experts as well, but sometimes we may be drawing a blank or seeking out an opinion. So CoreWeave is obviously a cloud provider, so they can get information from other use cases and actually see what sticks and what not. So having that support there is a blessing.
What are day-to-day operations like right now in early production?
So it's not, I cannot say a lot to that. Basically, we just throw our inferencing, workloads and everything works well. So far, so good. We haven't had an issue yet.
That's nice. So from an efficiency, a productivity perspective, it sounds like it's made a pretty big impact already.
Yeah, it's really transparent. Basically, we were working with other cloud providers. We're running these workloads on other stacks, and we just, made the click and it kept on running, like we were never switching in the first place.
Are most POCs, like in your past experience, kind of like features are locked down? You said CoreWeave gave us access to the GPUs, every feature was available, and that's not normal or common?
I wouldn't know if it's common or not, but I've run into a few instances where features were gated, features did not work the same way in the POC and at the final version. Stuff like that happens. I'd like to say it's not common, but I've seen it time and time again.
Yeah, well, it's maybe a refreshing experience that you've had with CoreWeave.
For sure.
We were talking yesterday with the Aston Martin F1 team, and 3 things the CMO Gene English says: performance, about CoreWeave performance, pace, and partnership. And it sounds like that's what you're getting from this.
Sure.
That partnership angle, the word transparency. I think that's one of the words I think of when I think of CoreWeave and how they operate, because a lot of companies have trouble doing that. They don't. How has the performance, the pace, the partnership really helped define your decision to choose CoreWeave to your leaders?
Okay. I think the support that CoreWeave as an organization showed from the get-go, anytime we had any issue, I don't think more than a couple of hours passed until we get our response. Whenever there was an issue, they did not try to hide what the issue was. They told us, hey, like this and that happened. Here's like a document detailing what had actually happened, how they solved it, and what to look out for in the future. So right from the get-go, everything is transparent. There's no like, oh, let me talk to my TAM, and they'll like hide in the corner, see what's what. No. We have a live one-on-one chat with everyone on Slack. They tell us everything 24/7, and so far, that's the way that we've been operating from the get-go.
So you have access to their direct to expert engineering team.
Yeah.
You said Slack, for example, really getting
we
collaborating
have our own
with you.
private channel and with CoreWeave, monitored in our own organization. So whenever we need to chat with someone, an expert on X, Y, and Z technology, they're there.
You have it.
I mean, there is a time difference. Obviously,
Sure.
we're not in America.
Yep.
But they answer as soon as possible.
From a a customer perspective, we think of Mercado Libre, we think of Amazon, and as consumers, we want to find whatever we want right away. We want them to show us relevant products and services. And the consumer is just becoming more and more demanding that experience is seamless.
Yeah.
So what are some of the business outcomes in that context that you expect Mercado Libre to be able to deliver to those demanding customers because of the partnership with CoreWeave?
That's a great question. The result that we're trying to achieve is, as you mentioned, for the experience, the buying experience of our customers to actually be better, to actually get to what they're trying to buy, sometimes not by asking the direct question, but by us knowing our customer. See, all this talk about agentic AI is capturing the context and truly knowing our customers to get deep down into what they actually need when they search for something. And that's what we're trying to get. And it's something really easily measurable, Basically, we see our conversion rate whenever we query something, and if they buy something, hey, we got to what they were looking for.
Right. So in the next 6 to 12 months, AI is moving so incredibly quickly.
Oh, yeah.
GTC, as you can see behind us, this amazing Times Square, but the vibe is still great since day 3. What are some of the things you're hoping in the next 6 to 12 months from an agentic perspective to really help continue this business transformation? What's on your wish list?
Honestly, I want to continue to see the performance per watt be better. Like Jensen introduced this whole new product for inferencing where we can get a lot more tokens, more bang for our buck, if you will.
Yeah.
Because we are seeing some barriers on the trading front.
Okay.
So once we get better inferencing performance, then we can really start doing better work on production, if you will. Like inferencing is real time. It's when the user is actually using your platform. And having better performance there allows us to think for more time, iterate more on what their needs are. So I'd really like to see that trend to continue to go further.
It's exciting. If there are any AI pioneers out there, and we know there are, and they're maybe embarking on a similar journey that you've done in the last year or so, what would your 3 key takeaways be to advise them, you got this?
Sure. So I think the first one would be to try out something that is very near to your to a known use case. Like, try to work with something where you truly have a ton of metrics so that when you actually do something with AI, in a few seconds if there's good return or not.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just burning money.
Right.
So having that use case really well established and being core to your business, you can actually start seeing right away if there's any return there. So that's how one of the things that we got started actually panned out for CoreWeave. Another one, there's a lot of hype around the AI and not unfounded, but really try to take a breath. There's a lot to learn and you can get started with simpler mechanisms. You do not need a full-blown, frontier model training with skewy training on the fly with real-time data. You do not need all of that from the get-go. No. So patience and truly getting to know what you actually need, I think might be the best advice I can give at this point in time.
I think that's fantastic advice because, the speed with which AI is accelerating is just, I can't even quantify it. And there's so many companies that are under pressure, as I mentioned, to move so fast. But you bring up a great point, like start small, identify the business processes where you're going to have metrics, measurable metrics, where you can see the needle moving. Yeah. And if it's not moving, start from scratch, go somewhere else.
Very startup minded in that way, like fail early. If you're going to fail early so that you spend as little as possible and move on to the next item and just iterate.
Do you think that the culture of Mercado Libre was important to have that start small, fail fast mentality to
for
drive,
sure.
Yes.
Mercado Libre, we describe ourselves as a lot of little startups working in conjunction. So that fail fast, I mean, we call it continuous beta. It's part of our
beta.
DNA.
Yeah.
So that's how we interact with the feature in every single day of how we do work.
That's a great continuous beta. That's a great approach. Last question for you, Sebastian. GTC 2026, 30,000 plus people. People are calling this the AI Super Bowl, a carnival, the heartbeat of AI. What are your takeaways when you board the plane to go home to Chile that you've learned this week from NVIDIA, from its partner ecosystem, from CoreWeave?
Well, first of all, I've learned that the ecosystem is huge. It was bigger than I actually could conceive.
It's massive, right?
Yes, it's massive.
And it's only growing.
Yeah, it's only growing.
Yeah.
And the thing that I take to heart the most is that I've seen in a lot of talks that I've engaged with speakers is that the open source movement is especially prevalent nowadays. Like everybody's trying to open source so that we can continue to grow as a business and not hide it behind closed doors. Especially a talk that Jensen gave about open sourcing a lot of the model stuff and working truly engaged with companies to be able to push the needle forward.
Yeah, that spirit of the ecosystem is only going to get bigger. I can't even imagine what we'll see at GTC 2027. I think the possibilities are limitless. Well, Sebastian, thank you for joining us on the podcast today and sharing the Mercado Libre story, your AI use case, why you went to CoreWeave, and what it's enabling you to do so far, and also for sharing that really wise advice for those out there who are struggling with how do I deal with the pressure and the speed. Start small, fail fast, really be prescriptive in your processes. We thank you so much for your insights.
Oh, thank you. Glad to be here.
All right. For Sebastian Yunge, I am Lisa Martin. We are coming to you live, GTC Day 3, CoreWeave booth. Thanks for watching, guys.